We have a 52-year-old male Caucasian who appears to have had a heart attack.
Is he cyanotic?
No, color is normal, seems to be in some pain, but he's not complaining.
What are his vital signs?
BP is 110/80, pulse 94, and irregular.
What have we done for him so far?
We've started oxygen at 5 liters per minute, and I have an IV line started.
Fine. How long will it take you to get here?
About 15 minutes.
Okay, we'll be ready for you. Keep in touch.
Right, we're on our way. Yeah, we're salsa.
What's the patient's name? Patient's name is Johnson, hospital MRI.
Resuscitation.
Tell me what you feel, sir.
There's pain in my chest.
Have you had this pain before?
A couple of days ago, but it wasn't so bad. I thought I had heartburn.
What do you do about it?
Nothing. I just rested a little, and I felt better until tonight.
Are you taking any medications?
No.
Everything looks pretty good. You're just going to be fine.
Today, in the United States, over 350,000 physicians and hundreds of thousands of other dedicated healthcare professionals serve the medical needs of the American public in hospitals and doctors' offices and clinics, the full spectrum of private and public medical facilities. You know, in the late 30s and 40s, doctors often went abroad for further medical training. During the last quarter century, America's become preeminent in advanced medical technology. As a result, thousands of physicians have come here to study. Many return home to practice, and of course, some of them have stayed.
Frankly, that's what concerns many Americans. They wonder, it seems to me, why they see so many foreign doctors when they enter a hospital.
Yes, I can understand that, since there are about 70,000 foreign-trained physicians practicing in America today.
What do you think the patient's real concerns are when they are treated by a foreign physician?
I believe it's simply that they wonder about the quality of medical care they're going to get. They have a basic faith in doctors, but they just don't know that much about foreign doctors.
That can be a problem. When you're sick or injured, you sure don't need any extra worries.
Right. So the concern of the public should really be whether physicians who receive their medical degrees in foreign countries have met the required high standards before they can practice here.
I can understand that, but is it possible to highlight the American standards and the procedures for assuring that foreign physicians measure up?
These are difficult questions to try to answer, but let's explore them. I think one of the best people to put this situation in perspective for you would be Dr. Madison Brown. Dr. Brown currently serves as chairman of the board of trustees of the Educational Commission for Foreign Medical Graduates, the ECFMG, the organization with over 25 years of experience and responsibility for evaluating the credentials of all physicians who come to this country, whether to train or to practice.
We'll clear the deck until later. Thank you.
Dr. Brown, what led to this great migration to the United States in recent years?
Well, of course, some doctors have come here as refugees, but the great wave of foreign physicians started to roll this way after World War II, an era when medical specialties came into their own. Most of them came temporarily to train as specialists, and some of them decided to stay.
Well, what was the attraction?
It was actually a case of mutual benefit for them and for the United States. Foreign physicians from all over the world recognized the United States as an open society and a great center of advanced medical technology. They wanted to come here to learn the latest techniques and procedures in our free intellectual environment, and they did come in large numbers.
I see. What exactly was the reciprocal benefit to the United States?
Well, primarily, it was a matter of filling available training positions in American hospitals. There were several thousand openings each year, and only enough American medical graduates to fill about 2/3 of them.
How were so many physicians able to gain entry to the United States? I thought immigration laws were fairly rigid.
That's generally true.
Is that still the case today?
Well, not quite. The Health Professions Educational Assistance Act, passed by Congress in 1976, was an instrument designed to stem the tide.
Then are we witnessing the end of an era?
We certainly are witnessing an era of change. Our medical schools are now graduating more doctors. Fewer foreign physicians will come because the immigration laws are stiffer, and there are fewer openings to fill. But there's a new cycle of foreign medical graduates entering the country.
A new cycle?
Yes, United States citizens who study at medical schools like these abroad and return home.
Could you give me an idea of the extensiveness of the educational and licensing standards that physicians have to meet in this country?
The standards are stringent, as they should be. They were developed over a long period of time. In the beginning of the American experience, there were no standards. Since all colonists came from abroad, any physician with formal training was a foreign medical graduate. And those who followed learned by an unregulated apprentice system that met no standards whatsoever. Now, the first real medical school, which is now the University of Pennsylvania, was established in 1765, and there were only 4 medical schools by 1800. Early medical schools didn't follow any standards as the term is understood today. Frankly, many schools were simply diploma mills that unleashed poorly educated graduates on an unsuspecting public.
I've heard that this document, the Flexner Report, put out by the Carnegie Foundation in 1910, was something of a bombshell in the battle against substandard medical schools at that time.
Indeed it was. He found things in a deplorable state at many so-called medical schools.
What happened when Flexner's report came out?
His report led to the closing of 29 substandard medical schools. Incidentally, Mr. Flexner was instrumental in bringing the great Albert Einstein to this country.
With all these standards in place, we thought it would be interesting to see what impact they have on modern medical education. So we came to Dr. Charles Vinson, chairman of the admissions committee of one of America's largest medical schools. Dr. Vinson, exactly how are doctors made today?
Well, all students have to complete established pre-medical requirements before applying to enter medical school. Applicants are judged for entry on the basis of their overall scholastic performance, scores on the nationally conducted medical college admissions test, the MCAT, which measures the educational achievement and aptitudes, and more subjectively on personal qualities. There are, of course, procedural variations from school to school.
Once you enter an American medical school, what is the length of study?
American medical schools have a 4-year curriculum in general. The first 2 years concentrate on the basic medical sciences, such as anatomy, physiology, while the last 2 years deal with the clinical sciences which relate to patients. However, some patient-related experiences are mixed into the first 2 years. We're very proud that medical schools in this country have a faculty-student ratio of about 3 to 2. That's one of the factors that helps to assure us the full development of each student's potential. After satisfactory completion of the 4 years of hard work, the student earns the MD degree. State boards set the strict standards for licensing, including exams which applicants must pass in order to qualify for practice.
Well, that speaks well for the quality of American medical education.
Yes, you're right.
What about quantity? There was a shortage of American graduates to fill available hospital training positions, which led to an influx of foreign graduates to fill the openings.
There was. However, we're now reaching self-sufficiency, and the number of training slots will be close to the number of graduates. So we've just about closed that gap.
What did it take to increase the quantity of graduates without affecting the quality of education?
It took a major commitment in money and resources. New medical schools were built and others expanded. 25 years ago, there were about 86 medical schools. Today, there are over 125.
Where did all the teachers come from to meet this demand?
Some came from abroad. About 18% of full-time faculty positions in American medical schools are held by foreign doctors.
So foreign doctors make a major contribution to training American doctors.
No question about it. We wouldn't have been able to expand our medical schools without them. It might be interesting for you to meet personally with Dr. Ray Casterline of the ECFMG, which is headquartered in Philadelphia.
Dr. Casterline, we've been exploring changes in medical education and licensing in the United States, and the changes in healthcare delivery during the past 25 years. We understand that the ECFMG certifies physicians who receive their degrees in foreign countries.
Yes, that's correct. And this came about because so many physicians educated abroad were being offered hospital training positions in the late 1950s. There was a legitimate concern by the American medical profession and the public in certification of foreign physicians.
A concern that they met the same standards as their American colleagues?
Yes, and that they could communicate adequately in the English language to be able to receive the benefits of advanced medical training, communicate effectively with patients, and keep accurate medical records, all very important considerations.
How official is your certification of foreign physicians?
A foreign physician cannot undertake graduate medical training without a certification.
You give a qualifying exam, I take it.
Yes, ECFMG has been giving qualifying exams since 1958. To date, we've administered about 500,000 exams to doctors from all over the world.
Could you describe the ECFMG exam for us?
Yes, it's given twice a year. There are about 150 examination centers, around 30 in the United States, and the rest outside the country in leading cities of the world. The candidate must take and pass a one-day exam that covers English language skills and knowledge of the principal fields of medicine, including the basic medical sciences and clinical areas.
Once a candidate passes the exam and you verify his credentials and give him an ECFMG certificate, do you help him obtain a training position?
Not directly. We provide information about residency programs.
Well, what exactly is a residency, Dr. Castellano?
A residency is a period of time physicians spend in a hospital training program, in many cases to become specialists.
What about the Americans who are graduating from medical schools abroad? What standards must they meet if they want to apply for residencies in the United States?
Exactly the same standards as foreign physicians. They're required to obtain the ECFMG certificate. The standards apply equally and fairly to all.
Foreign-trained physicians obviously filled an important need here, but the premise on which they came, it seems to me, was that they'd return home after their training and put their talents and skills to work for their own people. And my observation is that many stayed in the United States.
Certainly, many did stay, but many more did return to their own countries. I think the best way for you to learn more about that would be to talk to some of these foreign physicians yourself, see what they have to say about that. Before you do, however, I would like you to watch this news item. It's right on point. It concerns a doctor from the Middle East who returned home to practice, although his country was in the midst of a civil war.
It's just past sunset, and the first shooting victim of the night is rushed into the emergency room. The hospital is best known for its dedicated staff. Many graduates take up positions in more peaceful parts of the world, but some, like Dr. Samar Alam, have come back despite the risks.
I had a hard time justifying it to my chief and my colleagues in the States as to why I have to return to a country where it's all war, it's torn by factions fighting each other. But I thought there is more to be done here now than in the good days, so I returned.
As you can see, his decision to go back couldn't have been an easy one. It took a lot of courage. He's one of the thousands of foreign physicians who have trained here and returned home.
But what about those who came to America and stayed here?
There's a team of surgeons I'd like you to talk to, just about that. Dr. Ingida Asfaw, originally from Ethiopia, is a graduate of an American medical school, and Dr. Agustin Arbulu, a medical graduate from Peru.
I came to the United States from Ethiopia to become a medical doctor. And it seemed to me that this was the best country to achieve this worthwhile goal.
After graduation from medical school, did you go back to your country?
No, I did not. I had made arrangements to return to Ethiopia to set up a cardiac surgery program. However, because of the political climate, this opportunity died.
Dr. Arbelu, why did you come to the United States?
I had the opportunity to become a cardiac surgeon, which I always wanted to be. The training that I receive in this country is the best. Everyone that I've been in contact with has been so given, so free and open in their teaching. I think that these characteristics are unique of the United States and make the best country in the world.
Well, did you try to go back to your country?
Yes, I tried to go back to my country when I had completed all my training. Unfortunately, the red tape was so immense that these plans couldn't become a reality.
So there are many valid reasons why foreign physicians didn't return home. We talked to another physician, Dr. Vemo Puri, head of the emergency department of a major metropolitan hospital. Dr. Puri received national media attention when she was the only woman to take the first board examination given in the new specialty of emergency medicine.
The specialty of emergency medicine is very new in this country, and I'm fortunate to be a part of its formation.
Isn't it amazing that the advances in this country have been so rapid? Did you find it difficult to learn?
Yes, it was a lot of hard work.
Would you find it easy to return home to do what you do here?
No, it would not be possible to really use the sophisticated training I have had here to achieve the same high level of the care for my patients.
How do you like it in the United States?
Oh, I have a fulfilling career here. There is also a bright future for my children as the citizens of this great country.
Would you say that you've been faced with any problems in your career here because you are a foreign physician and a woman?
Oh, I think there were barriers to overcome, but I have overcome them.
More barriers, would you say, than you would have faced back home?
Oh, I don't believe so. I still get very nostalgic about my home country, but I can live here without sacrificing my cultural heritage.
The record is clear that physicians who've come to the United States have made great contributions to medicine and have performed a major role in healthcare delivery, both here and in their homelands. And the story would not be complete without mentioning the physicians who did research so extraordinary that they won the Nobel Prize for Medicine. One such man is Dr. André Cournot, French hero of World War I, Professor Emeritus of Medicine at the Columbia College of Physicians and Surgeons, Nobel laureate for his pioneering work in using a catheter to chart the interior of the heart, a technique that has helped facilitate today's sophisticated heart surgery. Dr. Cournot, I imagine you'd consider it presumptuous if I ask you now what the American experience has contributed to your distinguished accomplishments, because I realize that you've been an American citizen since 1941.
Well, not at all. I'm always happy to recount my experience in this country.
What were the advantages you found to working in the United States?
The free intellectual environment and many fine and generous colleagues as well. This country was about the first leader in applying the scientific method to clinical diagnosis and treatment of disease. That is really what was very special to me and engaged me to stay in this country.
What was it like to receive the Nobel Prize?
Well, first, I received a telephone call at 5 o'clock in the morning and through a newspaper. And that was the beginning of a very hectic day. But when it comes to the ceremony taking place 1.5 months later in Stockholm, of the award of the Nobel Prize, which I shared with my colleague, Dr. Dickinson Richards, and the German Werner Forssmann, it was like a fairy tale. It is a period I think you have to put between parentheses in your life and consider it as something which has happened to a person who looks very much like you.
I can imagine the feeling of what of your colleagues who have come to the United States over the years. Do you think they have found the intellectual environment equally as favorable?
There's no doubt about it. And incidentally, several of them have also won Nobel Prize. For instance, the Spaniard Severo Ochoa, the German Fritz Lippmann, and the French Roger Guillemin. There is a great commitment in America, both in dollars and faith, in scientific and intellectual research. We were then fortunate to have had the opportunity to fulfill our destiny. And America can be proud of what it has helped us to accomplish, an accomplishment that benefited medical science and human beings, a triumph for all the world to share.
Now, what of the future, when many more of the foreign-trained physicians who enter the country may actually be American citizens? Dr. Bloomgarden, you're part of what may be a new wave of American doctors who study medicine abroad and then join the mainstream back home. What led you to go abroad for your training?
Well, I wanted to be a doctor very badly. And at first, there wasn't an opening for me in an American medical school. So I went to Mexico, to Guadalajara, though later I transferred and graduated from medical school in the United States.
It must have been a difficult experience to attend medical school in a foreign country. Did you already know Spanish?
No. I spent 6 months in language study, then began my medical studies.
Were there many other students from the United States?
Yes, there were. I'd say about 1,800 to 2,000.
Why would you say so many Americans were studying medicine there and at other foreign medical schools?
I guess because they had the same motivation I did, and because they hoped there would be residencies awaiting them in the United States, though I believe now that the number of American graduates will soon equal the number of residencies, which might make it tough for graduates of foreign medical schools.
You've heard from a representative cross-section of the numerous foreign physicians you've spoken to. I think it would be very valuable for you to meet Dr. Robert Good of the world-famous Sloan Kettering Memorial Cancer Center in New York City. Dr. Good has worked with several foreign physicians over the years, and he articulates so well the great American philosophy in medicine that has attracted these physicians to this country. Dr. Good, it seems that the major factor that has attracted so many physicians to the United States has been our application of the scientific method to diagnosis and to the treatment of our patients.
There's no question about it. Of course, doctors have come here for a broad spectrum of reasons, including economic opportunity. But the overriding intellectual attraction has been our approach to science on the basis of a questioning attitude. We have been able to instill this attitude in the minds of our colleagues from abroad, many of whom have never had the advantage of this creative philosophy. We imbue them with the idea that facts are not theology. Facts are only a crude approximation of reality. The question is paramount.
I take it then that you believe that this typically American spirit of inquiry has brought about a revolution in medicine?
Absolutely. It may seem paradoxical, but it hasn't always been possible to question the statements of a professor or learned practitioner, even in more liberal societies. We have overcome this obstacle to progress.
Personally, Dr. Good, I found the humanistic approach to medicine ingrained in our American system. I think this is another characteristic that has attracted so many physicians here for study.
I totally agree, and I think it's rooted in the traditional American concern for the individual. To me, it's the most important aspect of the practice of medicine.
Physicians who come to the United States interface with a great deal of high technology as well as attitudes. How do you find this affects their decisions to return to their own countries to practice?
In some cases, it creates a real dilemma, a choice between staying here to practice their specialty with all the relevant technology, or to return home and practice without this equipment, a state of affairs that can be very difficult to accept. However, we have worked with many countries to help effect technology transfers in critical areas of medicine, you must remember that our technology is not an end in itself. It is a tool of our scientific and humanistic attitudes. This is really what we transfer to other parts of the world through those who work here with us. And it's our most priceless export.
And yet, there's more that needs to be said. The United States of America maintains a long-standing tradition in medical education. Medical students are taught that human values, caring, concern, and devotion for the sick are vital considerations in their development. Doctors meet high standards and recognize the importance of the quality of care their patients receive, the humanistic before the technological. Doctors today are committed to lifetimes of continuing education to gain up-to-date knowledge and to innovative research for future application. The past quarter century witnessed the influx of doctors from all over the world. Some established roots here, adding new dimensions, their traditions, cultural heritage, knowledge, and dedication to the mainstream of care Americans continue to receive. Many return to their countries, taking with them the skills they acquired here. Enriched with goodwill and friendships and a wealth of human interchange with the American people. Those who stayed, as well as those who went back, made important contributions to teaching, research, and to the manpower required for the care of patients. Will the next quarter century bring change? Sure it will, and greater challenge. It is believed that a possible surplus of doctors may soon exist. A new cycle has already begun. Americans are leaving to study medicine in foreign countries in greater numbers. They will return and expect to practice. Like other graduates of foreign medical schools, they will be required to demonstrate competence. Better definitions will be needed in the area of preventive medicine, in methods of diagnosis and treatment. Continuing research and technological advances will bring to the care of patients far more than what is known today. The pursuit of better health for the American people, as well as the unselfish sharing of knowledge and resources with the peoples of the world, remain the goals of the medical profession. Dedicated individuals, bonded together by traditions enunciated thousands of years ago.
I swear by Apollo the physician, and Aesculapius, and health and all heal, and all the gods and goddesses,
that according to my ability and judgment, I will keep this oath and this stipulation, to reckon him who taught me this art
equally dear to me as my parents, to share my substance with him and relieve his necessities if required,
to look upon his offspring in the same footing as my own brothers,
and to teach them this art, if they shall wish to learn it, without fee or stipulation.